Hello everyone, and thank you so much for getting me to the landmark of 10,000 subscribers. So as promised, I'm going to do a Q&A. The footage is just background footage, you don't need to pay attention to it if you don't want to, and apologies in advance if your question isn't answered. First question comes from the Liam426 asking for my name. My name is Scott. A number of people, including Into the Ring, asks how old I am. I'm 17 years old. Now here's an interesting one from Vortex Flyer. Do you record your commentary during or after you finish a race? I'm afraid the answer to that one, I'm sorry if I disappoint any of you with this, is after the race. I don't do it during, I do it after, and that's a real shame. But importantly, here's one from Ethan Calder. Hope I said that right. Is your commentary scripted? No, it isn't. I literally watch the race back and spout whatever comes to mind whilst I'm watching it back on a preview, and then put it all together nicely. But it isn't scripted, but it isn't done live. Oh, here we are, the Aston Villa questions. For those of you that don't know, I support Aston Villa. They're a team in the Premier League and a football team, and I support them because my dad does. If you say 3-0, 4-0 and 8-0, I say that's a load of f***ing shit, and it makes me really angry because it's just not good enough, really, is it? It's just not good enough. Here's an interesting one from KWL189. Do you think Lewis Hamilton can do a Michael Schumacher and turn Mercedes around into a dominant force in the future? I think he's good enough to, but I don't know if Mercedes will ever make a car that's good enough to. Next do you know what? I use both hands. It's so massive, I have to, like, hug it to do it. Okay? What really makes me laugh? Jokes? Here's a good one from Wrong Guard. Why do you think almost everybody hates Vettel? Let me think about that. Nah, I'm joking. I think everyone hates Vettel because he wins all the time, and because his wins are generally quite dull. Next one is from C Nelson95, and he says, seeing as I'm a massive fan of sausages, Frankfurter or Bregenswurst? Let's just say Frankfurter. Oh Christ, I asked for a question, not an essay. Here we go. Sorry Boss 101 asks, if you were riding a horse down a meadow and suddenly you realised it wasn't a horse, but a very horse-like octopus, just as the castle you are riding towards lowers its drawbridge and sends out a large armed force, all its soldiers equipped with octopus killing spray, do you proceed at the risk of endangering your biological traversy of a steed, or do you turn and run as fast as 8 tentacles/horse legs will carry you? Well, I'd run away. What sort of, who would run towards the army? You got to be mental to run towards it. I'd run away. I'd get my octopus out of there. Next question is from Jack Leslie F1. What made you create F1 game videos on YouTube? Now this is quite an interesting story because it started out when I was younger, me finding myself just shouting a lot over FIFA. So I thought, when F1 came out, why don't I shout over F1 and put it on the internet and see if people like it? So I did that. And here we are. Next question from Dan Coles 100. How does Vettel do it? Well, I can only assume he does it like most other men and women in a relationship, and he gets his genitalia, puts it inside... Oh no, you mean, how does he win so many races? Oh, sorry. Well, because he's got a very good car, and he's a very, very good driver, is what I think. Halty BWFC96 asks, have I ever been inside a Virgin? Yes, and you've all seen me do it. Danny Drowo asks, are you a swaggy dog?
Yes.
This one is from Moss GP. Will you do a career mode series? Now, I know I did one on F1 2011, but that will not be returning on F1 2012. There will be no career mode for this game from me, and the reason for that is just because the views were really poor on it on 2011, so I decided not to do it, and it's not worth the effort. I'll just do more online and more parodies. Hitting the Apex asks, do I know the answer to this question? The answer is 42. Never Lift Off asks, if a lion was tearing into your right hand and a tiger your left, how would you go about rescuing yourself, and which hand would you save first? Well, if a lion was tearing off my right hand and a tiger my left, I would accept the inevitable, say my last words, and die honourably. Markin Birdsey, I hope I said that right, asks who would win in a battle, 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? I've got to say the horse-sized duck, because the duck-sized horses just aren't big enough to do substantial damage to the horse-sized duck, I'm afraid. I think the horse-sized duck would win comfortably, in fact. Now, I can't believe it's taken me this long to get round to this question. Mr. Ferrari CZ asks, which F1 team/driver do you support now? The answer is the British drivers. And to answer the first part of your question, how did I discover that I like F1? A friend got me into it, and I just started watching it from there. McQuiz95 asks, why don't you do more races with your subs? I really struggle for time at the moment. I'm really sorry about that. I will try and do more when my exams are over, which is February. But then I've got another lot of exams in June, so I'll be struggling for time again then. But February, I'll try and do lots of custom races. Closetify asks if I like hot chocolate. Yes. Can you be my hot chocolate? No. No, I'm afraid not. I'm sorry. I am really sorry about that. Iceman5363. If David Villa played for Aston Villa, Antonio Valencia played for Valencia, who would Danny Shitu play for? He'd play for Aston Villa as well. Basically, in a word. Although that wasn't a word, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But by far, the most popular question was, can we see your face? Face reveal. Reveal your face. Do face cam. Why do we never get to see your face? Can you please show us your face? Reveal your face. Can we see your face? My answer is simple. A big, fat no. Yes. Well, this is awkward.